Well, China will begin implementing rules designed to prevent the use of deep fakes to spread misleading videos and fake news at the start of next year. Examples of deep fakes on the internet and even in Hollywood films show the pace of development in artificial intelligence. So what more can we expect in 2020 as governments around the world look to further regulate the internet? Ruud Hendriks knows a thing or two about emerging technologies. In the 90s, he helped Endemol become the most profitable online company in the Netherlands through Big Brother. He's also the co-founder of Startup Bootcamp, and he is with us in the studio. Ruud, great to have you with us in Melbourne.
Thank you very
much. Thanks for coming in. Each year, when you're looking ahead at technology, you do three big predictions.
Correct.
And I'd like to start with you talking a little bit about countries trying to regulate the internet. We know China does it. Other countries want to do it. What's the benefit for them?
Yeah, the internet will be nationalized. You see that everywhere a conflict erupts, that governments immediately now try to disrupt, let's say, the internet from the other party. And also internally, if something is happening, for instance, in Iran, there's unrest. The first thing they do, it's kind of censorship. It's a modern kind of censorship, absolutely, but it's also a modern kind of warfare. I mean, if you disrupt the internet, if you make certain that people cannot access the internet anymore, you're literally taking away a legal human right. Mm-hmm. But you're also really upsetting and disorganizing a whole country. So yeah, that's what's happening.
And beyond that, is it creating an imbalance in world powers? We are seeing this to a degree with like Russia trying to run its own narrative.
Well, I mean, the example of the Russian government or Russian organizations trying to influence the US elections is a prime example. You see that China is really trying to control the internet. I mean, try using Facebook in Shanghai. It's really, really difficult. You see it's happening in Iran. Obviously, it's happening in North Korea. And there's a tendency that this will spread around the globe. So the internet, which once used to be this fantastic network where you could socialize with anybody in any other country in the world, is really becoming, well, nationalized, which is it's a pity. And you know, I bet that in the future you and I could, if we want to communicate between the Netherlands and Australia without any problem, but try doing the same thing with someone in China who doesn't have the right social credit system over there, then you have a problem.
Let's talk about social credit, because of course this is going to start next week,
yes,
I think, in China.
Yeah.
How concerned are you about this kind of use of technology to control people's lives, to make judgments on them?
I am extremely concerned. I mean, if you behave in the right way, you can get points and you will have certain privileges. If you don't behave in the right way, you will be punished. And it's remarkable. I mean, in the Western world, privacy is really a big issue, but the Chinese population seems to be really used to it, and very many people are really in favor of all this.
They
which for me, it's unbelievable. No, I think it's extremely scary, and I sincerely hope it will never come to countries like Australia.
Indeed. Let's talk about deep fakes, of course, and we've seen the use of similar technology processes used, say, in The Irishman, this great film that came out.
Remarkable
recently.
how Robert De Niro became younger.
He did, except his body still looked old, didn't it?
Well,
it was interesting, but I mean, this is the kind of technology that is used in entertainment, and it's very a positive use.
Yes.
Where do you see it being a negative influence?
Well, I think we will have to get used to the fact that deepfake is really a reality. Hyper-reality is really here to stay. I mean, we have the real world and there's a virtual world which will become more and more intermingled and mixed with the real world. And I think we have to be extremely careful, because you will never know for certain if the person calling you is really the person he or she pretends to be, which is okay if it's just a friend. But if it's your CEO ordering to transfer money to another affiliate somewhere around the globe, you should be really, really careful. I think this is another scary development. On the other hand, on the other side, people are getting, especially the younger generation, is getting so used to virtual reality, mixed reality, and especially now Apple has announced that in 2022 they will really move into in a big time with new Apple glasses and things like that. So I don't think we will ever be able to take it away, but we have to be really, really careful in the future that if you read a certain text, or if you listen to a certain voice on the radio, or even if you watch the news, that this is really the person communicating with you that you want to be in touch with.
So the whole sense of this fraudulent sense of communication is a concern because fake news has become an issue for real news organisations. Yeah. Does it start us really distrusting everyone around us?
It is certainly something that we have to be afraid of. But there are good sides as well. Imagine that I bet there's a lot of file material from you on file. If you would ever decide to retire, you know, they could take your image, they could take your voice, and you could still read the news.
That's a horrifying thought.
Yeah, it's a reality. Well, it can happen.
That's absolutely true. And in fact, they were looking at bringing Jimmy Dean back to life.
James Dean's or Elvis.
Yeah, well, that would be some
He's
hit
just
movies.
left the building, by the way.
He's just left the building.
Yeah.
Indeed, he's come back into the building.
Yeah.
And do you think it's causing us to withdraw? I mean, I've got to the point where I feel like technology's become too much. Are we getting fatigued? Are we getting concerned about?
It is really remarkable that the more enthusiastic certain people become about technique, the more other people are withdrawing. So there's a whole new slow tech movement where people are using dumb phones instead of smartphones, where people are using analog records, for instance, instead of digital music. So there are two sides of the equation there.
Mm-hmm. And do you see technology slowing down as well, or is it something that we just can't control? It's impossible.
I think it's moving faster and faster. There's exponential growth there, so no, I don't think we can slow it down. And that's one of the main reasons why I really feel that we have to control it. And this is really where governments come in as well. You know, you see that everywhere around the globe, governments are responding to things that have happened already. But I think in a country like Denmark, for instance, there is a disruption council who are advising the government to take certain measurements before certain developments take place. And I think that would be a great idea to maybe have at the United Nations as well. So we globally, because the internet is still a global medium, so we need global measurements to certify that free speech will, for instance, continue there.
Really great to get your insights. Thanks for
My
joining
pleasure.
us.
Thank you very much for having me.